stars were silent, and space stretched endless in every direction. In that silence, a single human ship drifted forward. It was not a warship. It carried no heavy weapons. Instead, it carried hope. For centuries, humans had wondered if they were alone in the universe. They had sent signals, probes, and messages into the darkness. And now, for the first time in history, the darkness had answered. Far ahead of the human ship floated a massive alien station. It was larger than any city on Earth, glowing with thousands of lights. From a distance, it looked almost beautiful, like a star that had been built instead of born. This was the place of the first contact. This was where history would change forever. Inside the human ship, the crew sat tense but excited. Generations had dreamed of this moment, and now it was real. The commander, a man named Captain Harris, looked out through the viewing glass. His heart was steady, but his mind was racing. What if these aliens were truly peaceful? What if this was the start of something greater than humanity had ever known? The first alien message had been simple. We wish for peace. We wish for friendship. Those words had traveled across light years and had reached Earth like a gift. The leaders of humanity had debated, argued, and feared. But at last they had chosen hope. A single ship was sent, carrying greetings, knowledge, and trust. As the ship approached the station, the crew's voices were low and careful. Nobody wanted to make a mistake. A wrong word, a wrong signal could destroy everything. Then the alien ship appeared. It moved gracefully from behind the station, shining with silver light. It was unlike anything human engineers had ever built. No weapons were visible. No threat could be seen. The first meeting was about to begin. On Earth, billions of people watched through live broadcasts. In schools, children sat silent in front of screens. In cities, crowds filled the streets staring up at massive displays. Everyone held their breath. Everyone hoped. The alien faces appeared on the screens. They were tall, with smooth blue skin and glowing eyes. Their expressions were calm, almost gentle. A voice came through the speakers, soft and melodic. We welcome you, people of Earth. We welcome you as friends. For a moment, it felt like the universe itself sighed with relief. The crew on the human ship smiled, nervous but happy. Captain Harris bowed his head slightly and spoke back. We are honored. Humanity has waited a long time for this day. We come in peace. We come with open hands. The aliens nodded. Their leader raised a hand, a gesture of greeting. The translator struggled to keep up, but the meaning was clear. Both sides wanted peace. Both sides wanted trust. Minutes passed, filled with careful words and cautious smiles. The humans offered knowledge, maps of the stars, records of Earth's history, music from their world. The aliens responded with their own gifts, images of their cities, songs that echoed like wind across water. It was a beginning, a fragile beginning. Yet in the background of that joy, something strange waited. The human scanners caught small, irregular signals. A flicker of energy far behind the alien station. The readings were weak, almost like shadows. The crew dismissed it at first, too focused on the historic moment, but the shadows remained. Captain Harris glanced at his science officer, who shook her head, unsure. It was probably nothing, she thought. Just interference, just noise. This was a day for hope, not for fear. The captain agreed, but deep inside, a quiet unease touched him. He looked once more at the alien leader's glowing eyes. They were calm, yes, but there was something hidden there, something unreadable. Still, he pushed the thought aside. Humanity had waited too long for this day. They could not ruin it with doubt. On Earth, celebrations were already beginning. People cheered in the streets. Children waved flags and banners. For the first time in generations, the world felt united. All borders, all conflicts, all wars were forgotten in the face of something greater. A new era seemed ready to begin. A future of peace between worlds. The human crew leaned back in their chairs, relieved. The hardest part was over. They had met the aliens, and the aliens had welcomed them. Smiles spread across tired faces. Hope filled every heart, but the scanners kept showing faint shadows, flickers of movement, like something vast, hidden just beyond sight. No one wanted to speak of it. No one wanted to believe it. Not today. Captain Harris closed his eyes for a brief moment. He thought of his family back on Earth, waiting, watching. He thought of the billions of lives depending on him. He whispered quietly to himself, "Let this be real." Let this peace be true. And in that silence, the human ship drifted closer to the alien station, carrying not just people, but the fragile dream of an entire species. The stars watched, silent and eternal, and somewhere, far in the darkness, something else was watching too. The first words had been spoken. The first greetings had been shared. For a brief moment, the universe seemed safe. The human ship floated quietly near the alien station, its engines humming low. Inside, the crew felt a wave of relief. Centuries of waiting, centuries of wondering if humanity was alone, had finally ended in peace. Captain Harris stood at the front of the bridge, his hands folded behind his back. The alien faces still glowed on the main screen, tall, calm, with soft voices that carried no threat. Every gesture was measured, every word carefully chosen. It felt like the fragile beginnings of trust. The translator devices struggled, but progress was being made. The aliens spoke of their home world, a planet of oceans and floating cities. They showed images of towers rising from the water, glowing under twin moons. The human crew stared in wonder. This was more than first contact. This was the beginning of friendship. Harris cleared his throat and gave his reply. Humanity is honored. We also have oceans, great forests, mountains of ice. We hope to share our world with you, as you share yours with us. The alien leader's lips curved into what looked like a smile. Yes, peace, trade, knowledge, a bridge between stars. On Earth, the broadcast continued live. People cried with joy in crowded streets. Leaders gave speeches declaring that war was over, that a golden age of unity had begun. For once, humanity was not fighting itself. For once, all of Earth looked to the same sky with the same hope. In the human ship, laughter broke out in quiet corners. Crew members who had been holding their breath finally let it go. Some even whispered prayers, thanking the universe for kindness. But not everyone was at ease. The science officer, Lieutenant Mara, kept her eyes on the scanner. The strange signals were still there, tiny spikes of energy in the distance, faint but repeating. They didn't match the alien station's pattern. They didn't belong to any known natural source. She frowned and leaned closer to the monitor. The shadows looked like movement too precise to be random. Her stomach tightened. She opened her mouth to speak, but then stopped. This was a day of peace. This was a day the entire human race had dreamed of. Who was she to ruin it with doubts? Perhaps it really was nothing. Just interference, just space playing tricks. She forced a smile and joined the others, but her hand stayed close to the scanner controls. Meanwhile, the talks continued. Humans offered gifts, recordings of music, art, and languages. A violin's soft song filled the room, transmitted across the void to the alien station. The aliens listened silently, their glowing eyes reflecting the sound. Then they responded. The alien leader raised a small device and pressed it. A haunting melody flowed through the speakers like wind across endless seas. It was beautiful and strange, carrying an echo that touched the crew's hearts. Some felt tears in their eyes. For the first time, they believed that maybe peace between species was truly possible. Maybe the universe was not as cruel as history had made them believe. Captain Harris spoke again, his voice steady but warm. Our people have fought many wars, but today we believe in peace. If you will walk with us, we will walk with you. The alien leader tilted his head slowly, almost thoughtfully. Then he said, yes, we walk together. We share together. We build together. The bridge erupted with soft applause. Even Mara forced herself to clap, though her eyes still flicked back to the scanner. The shadows remained, faint but constant. Hours passed in cautious exchange. The aliens promised trade routes, shared star maps, and knowledge of healing medicines unknown to humans. The humans offered engineering, digital technology, and agricultural secrets that could feed billions. Both sides spoke of trust. Both sides spoke of a future without fear. Yet beneath the surface of every word, there was tension. Captain Harris felt it, though he tried to ignore it. The alien leader's eyes lingered too long, as if weighing the humans. The calm smile seemed practiced, rehearsed. Something about their perfect tone felt unnatural, almost hollow, but hope was stronger than doubt. The crew toasted quietly with small cups of water, a simple but heartfelt ritual. To the first friends among the stars, one officer whispered. Others repeated the words. Even Mara whispered it, though her scanner still glowed faintly in the corner of her vision. The aliens ended the day's talks with a final promise. Tomorrow we shall share more. Tomorrow we begin a new age. The screen went dark. The human crew relaxed, leaning back in their chairs. The first meeting was complete. The first step toward peace had been taken. Harris walked slowly to the observation window. He stared at the alien station, glowing gently in the darkness. He wanted to believe every word. He wanted to believe that humanity had finally escaped the cycle of war. But deep inside, he remembered the strange signals. He remembered the uneasy way the alien leader's eyes seemed to watch too closely. He whispered under his breath, "Trust is a fragile thing. It takes only one shadow to break it." And far beyond the glowing station, hidden in the cold void, those shadows flickered again. Stronger this time, closer, waiting. The crew slept that night with dreams of peace. None of them knew how quickly those dreams would shatter. The human crew woke the next day with hope still burning bright. The first meeting had gone well. Smiles had been shared. Promises had been spoken. Humanity had stepped into a new chapter of history, one where fear no longer ruled the stars. Captain Harris stood tall on the bridge. His uniform was sharp, his eyes steady. He looked at his crew, who carried the same light of hope in their faces. "Today," he said quietly, "we take the next step." The alien station loomed ahead, shining with soft light. It looked like a beacon in the darkness, a home of friendship. The aliens had promised more knowledge, more gifts, more peace. Harris wanted to believe it. He needed to believe it. The screen flickered, and once again the alien leader appeared. His calm blue skin glowed under the station's lights, his glowing eyes fixed on the humans. "Welcome, friends," the alien voice spoke. "Today we will share more of our wisdom. Today we will walk further together." The human crew smiled. Officers whispered quietly, excitement growing in their voices. For a moment it truly felt like the dream was real. But then, the scanners screamed. A shrill alarm cut across the bridge. The crew froze. Lieutenant Mara's hands flew across her console, her voice sharp. "Captain, something is moving behind the station." Everyone turned to the screen. At first, it was only a shimmer, like light bending in the void. Then, piece by piece, the shimmer unfolded. A massive shape appeared. Dark metal, sharp lines, glowing engines. A warship. It was enormous, larger than the station itself. Bigger than anything humans had ever seen. It emerged slowly from its cloak, its shadow swallowing the stars behind it. The crew gasped. Captain Harris gripped the edge of his chair. "What is that?" His voice was steady, but his hands trembled. The alien leader did not answer. His smile was gone. His glowing eyes grew colder. When he spoke, his voice carried no warmth. "You humans are brave to come so far. But peace," he paused, "was never an option." The bridge fell silent. Hearts pounded. The alien leader leaned forward, his voice now a blade. "You will not share with us. You will not walk with us. You will serve us." The words hit like a storm. The crew's faces went pale. On Earth, billions of viewers watching the live feed cried out in shock. People in streets screamed, children clung to their parents, leaders stared in disbelief. Lieutenant Mara's voice shook. "Captain, that warship, it's charging weapons." The ship's scanners confirmed it. Power levels spiked across the alien vessel. Massive cannons glowed with deadly energy. Captain Harris felt a cold weight in his chest. The dream of peace was gone. Trust had been shattered in a single moment. On the screen, the alien leader's voice thundered. "Your world will kneel. Your people will obey, or they will burn." The alien transmission cut off. The warship's weapons lit the darkness like false suns, evasive maneuvers. Harris shouted. The human ship lurched as thrusters roared. Energy beams shot past, glowing white, tearing through space where the human vessel had been only seconds before. The crew scrambled. Officers shouted warnings, their voices filled with panic. Sparks flew from consoles. The ship shook as nearby blasts rocked them. "We can't fight that," one officer cried. "It's too big." But Harris stood firm. His voice cut through the chaos. "We don't surrender, not now, not ever." The human ship twisted and dodged, but the alien warship was too powerful, too fast. Every shot came closer, every blast burned brighter. The dream of peace had turned into a nightmare of fire. Lieutenant Mara's scanner beeped again, her face drained of color. "Captain, it's not just one warship. There are more. They're uncloaking all around us." The crew stared in horror. One by one, more shadows emerged. Dozens of ships, smaller but deadly, surrounding the human vessel like wolves closing in on their prey. It was a trap. The entire meeting had been a lie. The alien station, the friendly words, the promises of peace. It had all been a stage. A mask hiding the blade, and now the blade was falling. Captain Harris clenched his jaw, his voice filled with fire. "Then we fight. If this is how it ends, then humanity will not go quietly." The human ship's weapons came online. Small cannons lit the void, firing bursts of energy into the darkness. They struck at the alien fleet, bright sparks exploding against shields. It was nothing compared to the warship's power, but it was defiance. It was humanity's answer. The aliens had expected fear. They had expected surrender. Instead, they found resistance. The bridge shook violently as another blast struck nearby. Panels cracked, alarms wailed, smoke filled the air. Crew members shouted, pulling together, refusing to give up. For every scream of fear, there was also a cry of courage. The first battle of humanity among the stars had begun, not with peace, but with betrayal. And deep in the void, the massive alien warship loomed closer, its weapons glowing brighter, ready to crush humanity's fragile dream into dust. The alien betrayal had struck like lightning. Peace was shattered, and hope had burned to ash. The giant warship loomed above, its weapons glowing brighter with every passing second. Around it, dozens of smaller alien ships closed in like hunters circling prey. On the human ship, alarms screamed and red lights filled the bridge. The crew moved fast, their voices sharp, their faces pale with fear. Yet even in the storm of panic, something stronger than fear began to rise: defiance. Captain Harris stood tall in the middle of the chaos. His eyes burned with fire. "We will not kneel," he shouted. "If they want war, then we give them war. Humanity does not bow. Humanity fights." The crew straightened at his words. Their hands flew over consoles, powering up weapons. Small compared to the alien warship, yes, but weapons forged with human determination. Lieutenant Mara locked her scanner on the enemy fleet. "Targets acquired, Captain." "Firing solution ready." "Then fire," Harris ordered. The human cannons roared to life. Bright lances of energy streaked through the void, slamming into the nearest alien fighters. One exploded in a flash of fire, breaking apart into glowing fragments. The bridge shook with cheers. It was only one ship destroyed, but it was proof that humanity would not be crushed so easily. But the alien response came swift and merciless. The massive warship unleashed its cannons. Blinding beams slashed across space, tearing into the human vessel's shields. The ship rattled violently, sparks showering the crew. "Shields at 60%. An officer cried. "Divert power from the secondary engines." Harris barked. "Keep us alive." The human ship spun sharply, dodging another beam. Alien fighters swarmed like vultures, firing bright streams of plasma. The humans returned fire, destroying two more with precise bursts. Every shot was a gamble, every move a desperate attempt to survive. On Earth, billions watched in horror as the broadcast continued. Families clung to one another, leaders shouted orders, soldiers clenched their fists. Humanity had dreamed of peace, but now, lived before their eyes, it was war. Yet something unexpected began to stir in those who watched: pride. Even as the human ship bled under enemy fire, it refused to surrender. Even as the alien warship loomed, humanity's spirit burned brighter than fear. Back on the ship, Lieutenant Mara's console screamed again. "Captain! The enemy warship is charging its main cannon." The screen showed it, a massive glow building at the front of the alien giant. "One shot could end everything. Brace for impact." Harris shouted. The glow exploded forward. A blinding beam tore across the void, faster than thought. It struck the human vessel head-on. The bridge shook like an earthquake, consoles shattered, crew thrown to the ground. Fire burst from the walls. For a moment, silence fell. Smoke filled the air. Systems flickered. "Status report." Harris coughed, dragging himself up. The officer at engineering shouted, "Main shields are gone. Hull breaches on deck 3. The crew looked to Harris. Their faces were bruised, bloodied, but their eyes waited for orders. The captain gritted his teeth. His voice rose like thunder. We still live. We still fight. Aim for their engines, now! The human cannons fired again, this time targeting the glowing thrusters of the alien warship. Bright bursts slammed into the rear of the vessel. For the first time, the alien giant staggered. Its shields flickered. A crack of light spread across its hull. Gasps filled the human bridge. They had hurt it. They're not invincible, Mara whispered, her eyes wide. We can fight them. Then we will, Hera said fiercely. Target the weak points. Don't stop firing. The crew worked like fire. Energy blasts poured from the human ship, striking again and again. More alien fighters exploded under the assault. The massive warship roared, its hull glowing with damage. The aliens had come expecting an easy victory. Instead, they found resistance raw and desperate. Humanity refused to break, but the cost was heavy. Every counterattack drew more alien fire. The human ship's hull groaned, its systems failing piece by piece. Smoke choked the bridge, alarms wailed endlessly, yet no one surrendered. Not a single voice cried out for retreat. On Earth, people began to chant in the streets, watching their lone ship stand against the impossible. Children raised their fists, soldiers swore oaths, leaders found courage they had forgotten. Across the world, humanity stood with the crew. The alien fleet tightened its circle. More firepower poured in, hammering the human vessel. The bridge shook like it would collapse at any moment, but still, the humans fought. Captain Harris gripped the console, his knuckles white. He looked at his crew, his family, and raised his voice one last time. We are the children of Earth, he said, every word sharp as steel. We were born in struggle, we were raised in fire, and we do not fall. Not today, not ever. The crew shouted as one, their voices a roar that filled the bridge. The human ship surged forward, weapons blazing. It charged directly at the massive alien warship, a spark against a mountain, but a spark that refused to die. The void lit up with fire and fury, and in that fire, humanity's spirit blazed brighter than the stars themselves. The battle raged across the endless dark. The human ship was small, its weapons weak, its hull torn open in places, but it still fought. Every blast, every shot was defiance written in fire. The massive alien warship roared in fury, its cannons burning like suns. The smaller alien fighters swarmed, circling the humans, their firepower hammering mercilessly. And yet the humans refused to surrender. On the bridge, smoke filled the air. Panels sparked, alarms screamed, but the crew stood at their posts. Faces were pale, uniforms burned and torn, but eyes blazed with determination. Shields are gone, Captain, an officer cried. Hull integrity failing. Harris clenched his fists, his voice steady like iron. We don't stop. We don't break. Aim for their weak points. Keep firing. The cannons thundered again, striking at the alien warship's engines. This time sparks erupted across its hull. A huge section of armor broke away, spinning into the void. Gasps filled the bridge. The impossible had happened. The alien warship bled. Lieutenant Mara stared at her scanner. Captain, we hurt them. Their shields are unstable. They can be damaged. For a brief second, hope flickered. Humanity was not powerless. Humanity had teeth, but the aliens responded with rage. The massive warship unleashed a barrage of fire. Explosions tore across the human ship. Crew members were thrown from their stations. Flames erupted. The deck shook violently. Casualties on Deck 5. Someone shouted. Life support failing. Harris gritted his teeth. The ship was dying, but even in the face of death, he refused to bow. On Earth, billions watched the live broadcast. People sobbed in the streets. Families prayed. Soldiers clenched their weapons. All of humanity saw their lone ship standing against an empire, and something inside them began to change. Fear turned into fury. Despair turned into pride. Across the world, humanity whispered the same words. Fight back. Don't give up. Back on the bridge, Harris made his choice. His voice thundered through the chaos. If we fall fighting. If this ship dies, it will die as proof that humanity is not weak. Fire everything we have, now. The crew obeyed. Every cannon, every missile, every burst of energy tore through the void. The small human ship became a storm of fire, striking again and again at the alien giant, and the giant stumbled. The alien warship's armor cracked wider. Flames erupted from its side. Its engines flickered. Shock rippled through the alien fleet. They had not expected this. They had not believed it possible. On the alien bridge, commanders shouted in panic. Their faces, once calm and cold, now twisted in disbelief. Humans were supposed to be weak. Humans were supposed to kneel. Instead, they fought like demons born from fire. The human ship, though broken, pressed forward. "We are not finished yet," Harris roared. Lieutenant Mara's console beeped suddenly. Her eyes widened. "Captain, wait. There's more. I'm detecting incoming signals. Not alien, human." The crew froze. "Human?" Harris repeated. "Yes, Captain," Mara said, her voice shaking with disbelief. "Multiple contacts dropping out of FTL. It's a fleet." "Our fleet!" The screen lit up with new arrivals. Human warships, dozens of them, appeared across the void. Their hulls gleamed, their weapons burned bright. Earth had sent reinforcements. Humanity had answered the call. The crew erupted with cheers. On Earth, the world roared as one. Humanity was no longer a single ship. Humanity was united. The alien fleet faltered. Their warships still outnumbered the humans, still carried greater firepower. But the balance had shifted. For the first time, the aliens realized the truth. Humanity was not prey. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was dangerous. The reinforcements formed a line, weapons ready, shields glowing. A voice came through the comms, strong and steady. "Captain Harris, this is Admiral Reyes. We're with you. You're not alone anymore." Harris smiled through the smoke. His voice carried pride. "Welcome to the fight, Admiral. Let's show them who we are." The alien fleet moved to strike again, but now they faced not one fragile ship, but the fury of an entire species. The void filled with fire. Explosions ripped through the stars as the new battle began. The human fleet clashed with the alien armada, each shot shaking the heavens. And in that moment, humanity's hidden strength was revealed. Not in weapons, not in technology, but in spirit. The refusal to bow, the courage to fight when all hope seemed lost, the unity that no enemy could shatter. The alien warship burned, its armor cracked, its commanders panicked. For the first time in their history, they knew fear. The battle was not over. The war had only just begun. But one truth was clear. Peace had been broken, and in the fire of betrayal, humanity had found its strength. The galaxy would never forget this day.